But then the Burmese government and everybody else, separate standalone meeting between Sita Musayadi, who goes to army barracks and advises them to crush all these people. You know, so Aung San Suu Kyi has not been able to confront them. So this brings us to the problem that actually democracy, very often, you know, we think democracy is a quick fix solution and it will bring justice, especially for minorities. Because democracy very often succumbs to majoritarian impulses, and we've seen it happening in India. Burma is the worst case possible, that where somebody like Aung San Suu Kyi, and I've seen her government functioning the last whole year I was in Myanmar, is that she has completely succumbed, A, to the Tamadaw, which means the Burmese army. Because when the Burmese army started their crackdown, after the attacks of 30 police stations, Aung San Suu Kyi, I personally met her and I asked her, what is your army done? If 30 police stations and one military base can be attacked by these very poorly armed rebels, I'm an expert on insurgency, I understand this. If 30 police stations can be attacked in one night, your military and its intelligence has completely failed. The Uri barracks were attacked, the brigade level barracks in Kashmir, and the brigadier lost his job. So your generals, who are now justifying this massive retaliation on the civilian population, actually don't deserve to be their jobs. And you know what she told me? This is not your country. This is Burma. So obviously she is succumbing to the Burmese military. She is not able to go back to the generals and say, if 30 police stations can be attacked in one night, in the middle of an operation in the Meu Mountains by the 33rd Burmese Light Infantry Division, you guys don't know your job as soldiers. You deserve to be chucked away. Your strip should be taken off. She couldn't do that. On the other hand, she allowed them to go ahead with the solution, and that has resulted in the present crisis, which sees nearly 1 million Rohingyas in the camps. And today, as I was coming here, I read the story that Bangladesh is now going to move 100,000 of them to the Bhashan Char, a new, sort of emerging island, which reminds me of Padmanabhi Majhi, the film. Exactly another horrible situation. But then, if you ask Sheikh Hasina, she tells you, I don't have a choice. My country is an overpopulated country. The West comes and lectures me on human rights. We are expected to shelter all these people, but they are not able to put any pressure, any meaningful pressure on the Burmese government and the military junta. And of course there is China, which has kept backing the military junta, which gives them all the strength so that they are not bothered about world opinion and all that has happened recently, including the UN postures. I'll just finish on this note saying that these 3 points need to be kept in mind. A, democracy is not a quick fix solution. The Rohingya case is the best example of that. Is that after the restoration of democracy, the worst manifestation of this crisis has been unfolding in Myanmar. It's worse than previous occasions. Number 2 is the impact on India and the way it plays out on India. And the lessons we need to learn in India, especially in our own very sensitive, but in Delhi, people in power will tell you, Northeast is very sensitive. Sparshokata. संवेदनशील इलाका है, और वो संवेदनशील इलाके में आप जो मर्जी कर दोगे और दूसरे जगह जहां हादसा हुआ है उससे भी आप शिक्षा नहीं लोगे, ये क्या बात है? So this is something. And the last point, which is very important, is that this is a problem which has divided the ASEAN along religious lines, if I may say so. Because Thailand takes a different kind of a stand. Malaysia, Indonesia takes a different kind of stand. I don't have to tell you why, you can understand. And of course there is the West Asian angle. So the Rohingya crisis, though the population is a very small population, compared to India, it's a very small population, 2 million. But this has a huge ramification which covers the entire continent of Asia, even Australia has run with their stand, even the West, because a number of them are in the West. But most importantly now, and this book is important for that reason, is that this is becoming a serious South Asian problem and no longer just a Bangladesh problem, which it has been since the early 80s. Thank you.
We have two other, Vice Chancellor of University, say a few words about the book itself that we co-edited, Professor Samadar and I. Already, Bhumik has already briefed about the books, and these papers, these articles, these essays, they have been written on the basis of the field visits, the actual situation that we witness in particularly in India as well as in Bangladesh. Much has been written about the situation, the state of Rohingyas in Myanmar, how they were expelled from Myanmar or Burma and within Bangladesh. But there was hardly any kind of academic discussion or well-researched kind of testament about the situation of Rohingyas in India. So probably this is the first attempt on, the kind of situation they are in. They may be smaller in number, not at all comparable to the Rohingyas in Bangladesh or particularly in Bangladesh, but they may be 40,000 odd people. But the kind of situation they are in, the book has primarily dealt with it. And that book has also a chapter that deals with kind of how the Rohingya situation has been represented by the. Apart from that, we find that there are several chapters on maybe the Indian law on the refugees, and if you compare as India have any specific refugee law, so any kind of thing all along. And then there are Rohingyas staying mainly in Hyderabad or in Jammu or in the surrounding, and how they have been living in all these places. So this is a testimony. That to also add that this book it really tells us a story about what we may call probably the new Palestinians of Asia. In a way, if you look at the situation, how more than 1 million people, they are already in Bangladesh and 40,000 maybe in India or in Thailand or Indonesia and beyond. So most of the members of the Rohingya community who have been living in Myanmar or Burma, they have been, thrown out of that country, and they are, everywhere other than Myanmar or Burma, which was their habitual residence for quite some time. So this is a book on the precarity and torment of the Rohingyas, particularly in South Asia, and how a particular community can turn into the stateless people overnight or within a few years on the basis of a new Citizenship Act that was enacted in Burma. And I hope that this book will help us to understand much better the situation of the Rohingyas and the stateless people. And another issue that we have raised, because you will notice that if you look at the book that there is an introduction, but then there is an afterword as well as an epilogue, which normally a book doesn't contain. That is because as we submitted the manuscript, the Rohingya situation has been changing every other day. And as you know that any reputed publisher, they take a lot of time to publish the manuscript after all kinds of the process they have to go through. So naturally, this book has this unusual kind of,
afterword, after
epilogue, yes. So that we had to add, and we also mentioned there, both Professor Samadar and I, that how apart from the international law or the national laws, municipal laws, how the regional initiatives have failed and how important the regional initiatives would be in dealing with such a situation of statelessness. I think I will stop here and let the other panelists speak. Thank you very much.
We have also group joining us, and this book, as I informed, has an interesting resource. It speaks of the jailed Rohingyas and the days in West Bengal, and the slippage of identity between the Bangladeshi and the Rohingya, how it constantly happens in the small boats in which Rohingya pass on as Bangladeshis and Bangladeshis pass on as Rohingyas happens with regard to the. She is a senior member of CRT. That is the Vice Chancellor of Sanskrit.
Actually, this is a wonderful book by two ace editors and a bunch of young scholars. So, in certain ways, it's a very unusual mix, and every book sort of has its own history. And exactly at a time when we were groping with the question of register, and the NRC situation in Assam erupted when this book was published. So from the beginning, I think this book sort of spoke to the situation that was happening here, and it very pointed to one thing, and that is we talk about a category in social science called the vulnerable category. This vulnerable category of population, therefore, in the context of South Asia, and I'm sure it's sort of similar in the context of Africa as well, where I've done some work, but definitely in the context of South Asia, has the potential to become stateless. So, it is not exceptional that we are grappling with a question of, just in one state, 40 lakh stateless people. The Rohingya situation was actually, in certain ways, a microcosm of that crisis. And my fear is, because Calcutta Research Group has been working for some time on this question of statelessness, my fear is any protracted internally displaced group, any protracted refugee group, any protracted forced migrant group will eventually become stateless. And that is a horrific situation, because South Asia then will become the core of world stateless population. It will be the core of world footloose people. And Shubir was talking about, should we send these people to Mars? Well, the Rohingyas have shown us the state solution, that actually took place in the colonial period, that is the ship of fools. There are thousands of Rohingyas being perished in the sea. There are open graves in countries like Thailand, in countries like Malaysia, and a number of other places. So, why not pack these people who are stateless in ships and let them float around and die? The able-bodied will probably remain here, the less vulnerable among the vulnerables, because they will be the precariat to be the citizens. And therein, everybody, whenever I speak, there is always an expectation that I will talk on gender, and herein comes the question of gender, because within this cross-cutting population, we have to divide this group of vulnerables into the less vulnerable and the more vulnerable, and definitely the gender question here becomes very, very important. I, for the first time, confronted a group of Rohingya women in 2014 in Dam Dam jail, when we were working on the situation of Bangladeshi women in jails in West Bengal. And there, the welfare officer of that jail came and spoke to us and said, there are 13 women here who we are not understanding at all, but they came with the Bangladeshis. And their situation was very like Bangladeshis. The children were suffering from malnutrition. These women, we have absolutely no idea, because anybody who's worked on jail knows that there is an usual procedure if you apprehend people